Hey y'all, welcome to Paige's Perspective, where I help you find your inner strength to cope with life. This is going to be real. This is going to be going back to the basics because I think a lot of us are exhausted or confused, maybe overloaded with information, and sometimes we just need someone to say the simple, obvious thing out loud. So here it is. And I say this all the time, but I'm going to dig deeper into it today. It's not about the substance. It's about the behavior. Always has been, always will be, and we need to simplify this so it's easier to make decisions. People get so caught up in what their partner is using or how much or even how long they've been sober. But I want you to take a breath and I want you to ask yourself, even if they've never touched the substance, would you still feel safe based on their behaviors? So no, it's not the substance, it's the way they behave. The way you're treated, the way you feel in your own body when you're around them. We track, we blame the substance, we become obsessed with what they are putting in their body. We forget the basics. What are they doing? How are they acting? How do I feel? The substance is just a cover, and we will put so much energy into that thing. We end up dismissing what's really harming us. And I know many of you may think, well, they only act like this whenever they're under the influence. Nah, y'all, the substance only amplifies the behaviors. I cannot stress enough the importance of not focusing on the substance and focusing on how someone treats you and goes against your values. It's not the drinking, the using, the relapses. It's the manipulation, the lying, the way you feel in your own home. And I've seen people use and still treat others with respect. And I've seen sober people still be emotionally dangerous. So no, it's not the substance. And here's another hard truth. I recently saw a video of a woman who had been in recovery for 9 years. Matt actually sent me this video and he was like, she is spot on. And she decided to drink again just because she thought she could handle it and wanted to get fucked up. She wanted to have fun, and she ended up going down the path of taking more drugs and drinking heavily. But the point she was making was that it had nothing to do with not doing the work or her trauma or numbing her pain. It was simply the wanting to get fucked up. We overcomplicate this shit so much, and I see it everywhere. Oh, they have trauma and they're numbing their pain. Sure, this may be applicable to some, but talk to those who have been in recovery for a while and they'll tell you they simply wanted to feel different and basically escape reality. Don't overcomplicate it because it's gotten to a point where we rationalize their behaviors and we normalize their past, or we normalize their use based on their past. We minimize it. We accept it. I knew my husband had a past, but I also knew that it wasn't an excuse to be an asshole. It's that simple. I think my goal and my mission is to really simplify all of this and quit overcomplicating it. If someone's treating you poorly, making you feel unsafe, are you being lied to? Are you being manipulated? Is your gut telling you that something is off, but you continue to accept the behavior because you're told they need more support, or that it's their trauma talking or their disease? It's okay to make this about you and quit trying to make it about them. And let me say this because it does need to be said. No wonder you're confused. The entire recovery world, and I mean many books, many groups, many professionals, focus on how you can support the addict. You hear things like detach with love, don't take it personally, be patient with their healing, they have trauma, hold space, wait for change, they're just not ready yet, stay on your side of the street, they have a disease, you're just codependent, you're just addicted to them. And listen, I get why these things are said. Sometimes they come from good intentions, but the result is that it keeps everything centered on them, on their pain, on their recovery, on their potential, on their shame. And you get put on the back burner once again, or sometimes you're being called enabling or codependent and you need to work on your defects because you're part of the problem. And that isn't fully helpful either. But then you're praised for being patient, for staying, for holding the family together while they fall apart. But no one asks you, how are you doing with all of this? Do you even want this relationship anymore? What would happen if you stopped trying so hard to make it work? And that silence around your needs, it's teaching you something dangerous, that your pain is secondary, that your instincts are inconvenient, or that walking away makes you the villain. So you start doubting yourself. You think, well, maybe I am the problem. You shrink your voice, you overcorrect, you try harder, and still it's not enough. But let me say this clearly, that you are not selfish for taking care of yourself. You are not heartless for saying, I can't keep doing this. You're not abandoning someone for choosing to protect yourself. It's self-preservation, and we all need this to thrive in life. You've been taught to override your own clarity in the name of compassion. But compassion without boundaries is just self-abandonment. No one says, hey, it's okay to leave. Hey, you matter too. Hey, you're allowed to want peace in your life. Hey, you're allowed to be angry. Hey, you don't have to wait around for them to make decisions and change. Or hey, you don't have to completely change who you are for them. So of course you feel torn. You've been conditioned to believe that your worth comes from how much you endure, how much you can forgive, or you're even blamed for wanting more from a partner. When the entire conversation revolves around their healing and what they're dealing with, you start to wonder if you're selfish for needing your own. It's okay to focus on you and what you deserve. It's okay to speak up. It's okay to have wants and needs. It's okay to listen to your gut here. We gaslight ourselves by saying things like, maybe I am too sensitive. Maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe this is my trauma showing up, or maybe it's their trauma showing up. You don't need to decode their childhood. You don't need to Google their diagnoses. You need to start believing the data that's right in front of you, the behavior, the patterns, reality. We turn ourselves inside out trying to figure out why they act the way they do. Is it trauma, addiction, ADHD, the substance, insecure attachment? We turn ourselves into therapists and researchers and crisis managers trying to diagnose why someone keeps hurting us. But you already have your answer. It's how they treat you. That's always the answer. It's that simple. Please don't overcomplicate it. If we are overthinking anything, this is where we overthink. We put labels on how someone behaves and we blame it on that or the substance, when in reality, we need to look at behaviors and how they impact us, intentional or not. We put labels on things because the labels give us hope, because if we can understand it, then maybe we can fix it. But here's the truth. You don't need to understand it to decide it's not okay. The behavior is the data, the pattern is the proof, and the way you feel is evidence. You know that knot in your stomach, that you feel whenever they walk into the room, or that hesitation when you want to bring something up? That's not just you, that's not you being anxious. That's your body trying to protect you from a pattern that it recognizes all too well. As humans, we recognize patterns. You're not broken. You're not crazy. You're responding to real things. And our gut is a powerful tool that we lose touch with in unhealthy relationships. And I know it sucks when we're told, oh, just trust your gut, because many times we don't even know what that means since we've been living in chaos for so long. When we're lied to, it definitely makes us question ourselves. However, your gut, your intuition is a powerful survival tool. It's meant to keep you safe. You don't like who you are or who you've become in this relationship. That's your gut talking. You feel like something just isn't right. That's your gut. You don't need the proof. Your intuition is telling you what you need to know in order to protect your body. Our program, Independently Strong, helps others learn how to trust their instincts again. We validate, educate, empower, and help you on your own healing journey. It's for anyone who has been impacted by someone with basically narcissistic behaviors in their most intimate relationships, whether you are still in the relationship or out of it. If your partner is in recovery or not, it's for you. It helps you build yourself up and have more clarity. You can use code Wheelies75 at independentlystrong.com for 75% off the entire program, which you get access to for as long as it's available, and you get to do it at your own pace. So I say this with so much love. Stop focusing on the substance. Stop focusing on the apology without any action. Stop focusing on potential. Stop focusing on the sweet moments that happen, once in a while. There are cycles within these relationships, and we actually touch on this in a module of our program where there are highs and lows. We get sucked into the highs and we forget how bad the lows are. Or we minimize them because the highs override the lows, but that's just so dangerous. And if you're able to recognize the pattern, you'll see how it actually gets worse over time. So what happens when they're stressed? What happens when you say no? Or what happens when they don't get their way? What happens when you bring up a real concern? What happens when you ask them to get help? That's the behavior that matters. That's the person you're actually in a relationship with, not the one you wish they'd become. Pay attention to what keeps happening, not what they promise. The behaviors are what impact us, not the substance. You can't just take the good and leave out the bad. You have to look at the entire picture of what they are showing you. Some of you might be sitting in circles being told that your discomfort is your issue, or that you're codependent for having needs, or that you just need to work harder to not react, that how dare you be angry with someone who has a disease? They can't help it. I'm here to say that you're allowed to walk away. You're allowed to have needs. You're allowed to feel whatever the hell it is you're feeling. Even if they're in recovery, even if they're trying, even if everyone else thinks that they're doing so well, even if they think they're doing so well, you're allowed to not want this life. It's okay. And no one is saying that because the world revolves around the addict and their needs. But what about you? You matter too. Your kids matter. We need to normalize. It's okay to be done with a situation that is harming us and our kids. Some people think that Matt and I normalize loving an addict, and I'm here to say that that's not what we do. I know many of us are still in the relationship with a recovering addict, and that's okay as long as we are being very mindful on how the behaviors are impacting us and our kids. Some people weren't harmed as badly and recognize how drastic changes are being made, but some people are done, and that's okay too. We're here to love you until you can love yourself enough to live the life that you know you deserve, with or without the addict. So let's go back to the basics. Behavior over substance, data over promises, your truth over their potential. Pay attention to your body. If you've been waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to trust yourself, let this be it. You don't need another apology from them. You don't need to wait for the next relapse to finally say enough. You just need to listen to the version of you that's already whispering, this isn't it. Something's not right. And I'll be here to remind you that it's not only okay to trust that voice, it's the most powerful thing you'll ever do. Remove the substance from the equation in your mind. Pay attention to the unhealthy behaviors that truly impact you. That's where reality lies. That's all I have for this week, guys. Until next time, I'm Paige. Bye.